Hello there everybody, Sabana92 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana, a Requiem for Innocence. I deeply apologize for that cliffhanger hell of an ending, but we're not going to go further back into this. Okay. So, to answer your question, I was not always the man I am today. I had several brothers, though I was the eldest. As such, I was first in the line of succession. There should have been no question as to who was the rightful heir to the house. But my father, the previous lord, wanted my brothers to succeed him instead. Without any reason to pass over me, though, he would have faced significant opposition and put the family's reputation and legitimacy at risk. I was neither infirm nor mentally challenged, but rather extremely talented, which gave my father no leverage to deny me the throne. The one thing I lacked was psychometry. Seeing people try to butter each other up made me physically sick. It seemed to me the last kind of behavior royalty should be engaging in. I believed that merely possessing leadership ability should be sufficient for ruling effectively. But in this world, only those who can win others' favor make it anywhere. Only those who can make themselves look good and their peers look like fools. Those who can claim others' achievements as their own, who can appear to have more power than they actually do. My father and brothers forsook me, making an attempt on my life. Because they could not legitimately remove me as the rightful heir, they could only kill me if they wanted their way. I was fortunate enough to survive the attempt, but I still carry the scar today. You mean the biggin on your back? That's right. You're surprisingly observant. D. I was in danger of not just losing the lordship, but my life. I was left with three choices. To let them kill me, to flee and live in poverty, or to kill them first. I was born to rule, though, so in reality, I only ever had one choice. I murdered my father and all my brothers, leaving me as the only heir in the line of succession. I seriously don't know how to... I was not expecting that we would actually get a glimpse into Barnier's life. The Lord of all people, for crying out loud. But becoming the Lord did not immediately win me everyone's favor. Distant relatives crawled out of the woodwork to claim my throne as rightfully theirs. The people demanded I satisfy their every whim and fancy. And even my attendants tried to push their own agendas. The whole affair quickly grew tiring. Dozens were clamoring for a say in matters I could easily handle myself. So I silenced them. Before long, the prodding voices had to become corpses. And it was somewhere around that time that I found myself intrigued by fear. Fear is a wonderful thing, an incredibly effective silencer that spreads like a plague. Sufficient application would preemptively stop everyone from interfering. Fear strips man of all his will. When it became apparent to me that one did not have to be a great leader to rule effectively, all the time I had spent in my younger days working to improve myself felt like an incredible waste. Fear became the centerpiece of my rule, and as I continued to employ it, I began to derive great pleasure from the despair it instilled in others. Men trembled at the sight of me. They bowed their heads and abandoned their dignity. They begged me to spare their lives. And what an exquisite sight it was every single time. Enrapturing. You were born into your madness, Jiren, but I was molded into mine.
Oh, that's neat. But, Lord Barnier, wouldn't that make me a bad match for you? I'm not scared of you at all.
Man is a curious beast, you see. Once everyone feared me, I then came to seek those who did not.
You sure are hard to please.
You make it sound like I'm merely a picky child. Though I suppose there's little difference in your eyes. There were a number of others among the nobles who had, like me, strayed from the path. Hardly a surprise, given what life as a noble is like. So I started throwing banquets, inviting those who would be interested. These parties were to serve two purposes. The first, obviously, being for my own amusement. The second, to find those with similar tastes and bring them into my circle. I found little success with the latter, however, despite my rather zealous attempts at recruitment, so I no longer waste the effort.
You weren't able to make any friends then?
No, I was not. The other nobles had no interest in getting their own hands dirty. They only wanted to watch, getting their titillation from a safe distance. Not a single one shared the same madness as me. Jiren.
Aye?
You are far better than any of them.
What? Thanks?
What are you squirming about? I thought nothing bothered you.
I am capable of getting flustered, thank you.
There is something deeply wrong with you.
You're the one who decided to throw that curveball, Lord Barnier.
Enough of the formalities already. You're not a whore anymore. You're allowed to use my name.
Huh? That is your name, though.
You don't know your own lord's full name, do you, Jiren?
What?
Answer the question, girl.
I'm sorry.
Allow me to help. I will only say this once, so don't forget it. My name is Jean-Francois Barnier, firstborn son and rightful heir of the Barnier family.
Did I pronounce that right? Got it memorized. That's a really long name, though. I think I'll call you Franny. That rolls off the tongue nicer. I assume I can take that cryptic chuckle as an okay?
Only if you wish to be hanged. Call me Francais.
I... Oh my goodness.
Jiren. Get up, Jiren.
What?
I swear, you spend every moment you're not otherwise occupied sleeping.
I love sleeping.
I said get up, you feeble-minded Nimrod!
Ow! You didn't have to hit me. Yeesh. There are nicer ways to wake a girl up, you know.
Be grateful I only hit you hard enough to wake you. I swear, the church may have to redefine sloth if they ever meet you.
This bed's so comfy, though.
You do realize the blood of dozens of women has seeped into every fiber?
Comfy's still comfy, though.
That wouldn't bother you, would it?
So, what's up, Francais? You need me for something?
Yes, I have a favor to ask of you.
What? A favor? Of me? What is it? I'll do anything.
Without even hearing what it is.
It doesn't matter what it is. You say the word and I'll do it, Francais.
And what if I asked you to take your own life right here?
Just give me the knife.
I should honestly be more used to this by now.
Why wouldn't I do anything for you, Francais? I love you. No one's ever cared for me like you before. No one's ever wanted me as much as you. You're happy with me as I am, despite me missing all the most important pieces.
Again, I really shouldn't be so surprised. Fear not, though. I won't be asking you to die today.
How much harder is it going to be then? I hope you don't want me to kill anyone. It would be my first time, and I'm not sure I could pull it off properly.
You're at the bottom of my list of prospective assassins. I doubt you could successfully smother a baby. Although, you could probably cause a great deal of death, I imagine. I would like to make you into a mole.
So you want me to dig holes?
In a sense. There's been word of unrest building in the city of late. Money and resources gathered below the table. Murmurings of resistance being organized.
So a bunch of baddies?
Precisely. I want you to go down to the city and try to find as many baddies as you can, then report back to me. Can you do that?
Aye, I can try.
Excellent. A whorehouse would be the best place for you to start gathering information, I think. All I need you to do is to deliver reports. Anything more involved would probably cause that empty head of yours to burst.
Aye, aye. I just realized if I go into the city, I won't be able to see you as often, Francais.
Does that displease you?
A whole lot. Oh, I bet this is what being sad feels like.
In your twisted mind. Perhaps so. How about this? I will have a servant act as a regular client of yours. He will pretend to be a well-off merchant. At regular intervals, he will patronize the brothel, requesting your services and bringing you back to his residence. He'll pay well enough that they won't mind if you're gone for a few days, during which time you can come back to the manor and see me. How does that sound?
Wee, I love it!
Next, we need to discuss how you present yourself. Although you're free to be yourself in my presence, you will need to put on a suitable act down in the city.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Now I'm getting butterflies.
You spent years doing precisely that before you came here.
But I didn't have you counting on me to do a good job of it back then, Francais.
Allow me to offer you a piece of advice, then.
What? I'm all ears.
Freely tell others about the misfortunes of your upbringing.
I don't think I had a bad childhood, though.
You may not, but others will. Your parents, murdered as you watched, taken captive by the men who did it. Tell people your story, but don't act overly dejected.
Huh? Why not? Won't people think there's something wrong if I'm not sad?
People will think it's more unusual if you get too dramatic, because it's so far out of line with your regular disposition. Good acting is subtle, not overdone.
Oh.
People will feel great pity for you when they hear of your past. And then they will see your exuberance as a sign you fought and found the strength of will to move past your ill fortune. They will be impressed, taken with you. So you needn't exaggerate your performance. Just give it a little bit of flavor. As long as you don't tell anyone those emotions are beyond your grasp, no one will have any reason to suspect otherwise.
Huh, neato. I'm feeling a lot better about this now.
I expect you won't disappoint me.
Aye, aye, boss. So hey, Francais?
What is it?
What would you do if, hypothetically speaking, if when I go down into the city, I learn what sadness and fear feel like?
I would kill you, because I would no longer have any interest in you.
Awesome! I'm just glad you didn't say you'd kick me out. Every girl dreams of being killed by the man she loves. Uh, uh, uh,
No. No. No, they do not. You want me to kill you?
If it comes down to it, I guess. Although really, I'd rather be with you forever.
Oh my lord. Into the room, Jiren! Now!
Oh wow, you're gonna yank my arm off!
I wouldn't have to if you would move!
Blech.
Listen very carefully. You stay in this room until everything is blown over. Do not open the door for anyone.
But is this what I think it is?
You are only to leave this room if I tell you it's safe, or the mana goes completely silent. And if someone breaks down the door, tell them you're being held captive by the Lord. My predilections are well known among the people. No one will suspect you are lying. I must go now. Farewell, Jiren. I rather enjoyed our time together.
Wait, don't go! I've got an idea, Francais. We could escape through that window there. Tie the sheets up into the rope and climb down. Then we can go somewhere far away where nobody will find us.
I do not have that liberty.
Well, why not?
Because I am the lord of this land. I was born to be the lord. I murdered my own family to keep my claim to this title. And I will not abandon it until my final breath. I was a fool and a tyrant, neither a great leader nor a great man. But still, I bear the responsibility of my role. Fleeing is not an option.
I never thought you were a tyrant.
The rest of my lordship would disagree with you. I used fear as a weapon of control, murdering slaves for fun and prioritizing my own desires over the needs and lives of my people. Do you have a better word for what I am? Whereas you grasp the difference between good and evil, but lack the requisite emotions to give those concepts meaning, I knowingly chose to stray from the path of righteousness.
Didn't you say you could run things just fine with fear? That it was very effective?
Indeed. You can run things exceedingly well with fear. Though I never said you could do so forever. I first saw signs the people were turning against me 3 years ago. While I did what I could to crush the seeds of revolt before they grew, it would seem I missed a few.
If you knew this was coming, couldn't you have stopped it?
I've traveled so far down the wicked path it would be nigh impossible for me to find my way back into the light. Which means all I could do is continue on and see what awaited me at the end. Oh my. I could never play the benevolent ruler, though. Those people are inscrutable to me. They all appear to be either ravenous beasts or feeble-minded swine. Were I able to have any love for my own people, perhaps things could have turned out differently. Damn.
I can't stay in here and wait, Francais. I want to be with...
You will do as I say, girl! What's gotten into you, Jiren? Death is supposed to be meaningless to you. You do not experience sorrow over loss.
But I...
Should I not come back? Go on smiling. Do not think I will simply let them walk in and kill me. I have dozens of skilled guards and I can handle a sword myself as well. Far better than any mere peasant. They're getting closer. Now remember, you are not to leave this room. Understood? You are my property, and property does not defy the will of its master.
And what if I do come out?
Jiren. You will not be of any help to me out there. And should you obstruct me in any way, I will not hesitate to kill you. You do not have a choice. Is that clear?
Francais.
What? Time is running short.
I love you.
I will always place myself, the Lord Jean-Francois Bonnier, above anything else in the world. And you, second.
Wait. Second? That's kind of super crazy, wow, isn't it? Oh. I'm shaking a bit here. I've never felt this way before.
Oh my god. The mad, cruel lord actually found something he wanted. Jesus Christ!
Is this what being scared feels like? Huh. This is a lot worse than I imagined. It hurts real bad, like someone sitting on my chest. I can hardly even breathe right. But it's kind of really wonderful. No, I can't do this. I can't be away from him.
Achievement unlocked, An Orphan's Tale. Part 2. What's past is prologue. Wherefore should the heathen say, Where is now their God? But our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have I can't read all that. They that make them are like unto them. So is every one that trusteth in them. Psalms 11:5-8. Or 115:8. That, yeah. Oh! Hello there! 'Tis a great shame that what happened to Ginevra. The post-revolution merrymaking continued into the wee hours of the morning. After things settled down and the men returned to the city, an elderly man calling himself Odilon showed himself before me. Despite his evident age, the man stood tall and spoke in a clear, confident voice. Looking into his deep sapphire eyes, I felt as though I could see everything he had borne witness into in these walls engraved within them. Odilon revealed himself as an ally of the revolution, and as having been in contact with Ginevra. Had things proceeded as initially planned, she was to take power and build the land anew with my assistance, but a great change is never without its cost. Nevertheless, I am unspeakably grateful for how swiftly you've managed to dethrone the former lord. Without your heroic efforts, we would still... Enough with the ass-kissing. Tell me who you are and exactly what you're hoping to get out of me. No need to be so apprehensive, I assure you. I am more than happy to tell you everything you wish to know. I served as counsel to the late Lord Jean-Francois Bonnier, and 'twas I who aided the revolution from within the manor's walls, coordinating with Ginevra on the outside. So, that'd make you the one who ordered the gates open for us, then? Verily. Furthermore, I arranged to have a number of the guards turn coat. Well, you did fine work. We would have lost a lot more men without your efforts. I have to ask, though, where were you while it was actually happening? I don't recall seeing you anywhere. I took the liberty of finding myself shelter. How fortunate for you to be able to kick back and watch only to crawl out of your hole after we relieved the lord of his head. Might you perchance be suggesting this old bag of bones take up the blade? I would only serve as an impediment to your success. 30 years ago, mayhap, but hardly would I point a sword straight today. Or perhaps you would say that I, as a supporter of your cause, should have been present for the occasion regardless. Be of little aid I would have been, merely dying a fool's death, becoming naught but another body upon which the living would trick.
You're skilled with your words, old man.
Of course. 'Tis my job. Now there is but one service I can provide you. My knowledge.
Knowledge? Meaning you intend to continue to serve as the Lord's counsel?
For what other reason would I lend my hand to this revolution?
You expect me to just take your word? To trust you?
Surely you're aware that you cannot rightfully govern this territories without the acknowledgement of the neighboring council and the king. I have knowledge and connections which would prove invaluable in establishing you as legitimate and qualified to inherit the throne.
Yes, I know. I did not saunter into here blind. I still hadn't figured out how I would accomplish that, but... Wait. I recognize you from somewhere. I remember. You were here during the revolt 3 years ago. You're the one who helped Barnier escape.
'Twas indeed I.
That's all the more reason not to trust you! You sat back and watched, not a damn peep, as that clown of a lord left his people to rot. Like hell I'm letting you be my counsel.
You're an astute young man, but still far too green for your own good. And you fail to fully separate yourself from your old life.
Excuse me?
I assure you, I was no more fond of Lord Barnier's predilections than you. But as I am sure you are aware, he was quick to send his opponents off to the gallows. And he would be no more merciful to his counsel than a slum dweller. My objections would have ensured but one thing: your swift, meaningless death. Moreover, you knew it was not yet the time and stayed your hand, nay. I too had reached the same conclusion, was awaiting the appropriate time. The perfect time to rearrange the board. You must dispense with the childish emotion that controls you. Act exclusively in service to that which most benefits you. And you cannot do so without someone to guide you. You are still merely a fledgling young man. You know not up from down in this vast new world. And you have neither an army nor the weapons with which to defend yourself. Should you go out into that world unaccompanied, it will snap your neck before you feel the hands upon your skin.
And what benefits are you hoping to reap from this? You're not acting out of a love for the people. That much is obvious.
A chance to fulfill my duties as counsel to the Lord. My expertise went largely unused under Lord Barnier's rule. It was a deeply frustrating time for me. Though, if I may be blunt, perhaps I should say that I would like to die knowing I have accomplished something worthwhile with my life. I can promise you I have no intention of mistreating the people for my own personal amusement.
You've still given me no reason to actually trust you.
Allow my work to speak for my words. Allow me to proffer unto you my knowledge, that it may be of service to you.
I don't completely trust this man, nor do I think I ever will. He's after something. Probably wants me to use me as a puppet under the guise of assisting me as my counsel. He makes a good point, though. I'll need someone to show me the ropes if I want any chance of governing effectively.
Have you come to a decision?
Okay. It's a pleasure to have you, Odilon.
At your service.
That said, try anything and you'll be out the door faster than you can blink.
Understood.
Good.
Now, if I may, I would like to offer my first instruction.
And what would that be?
You will need to make a formal proclamation of your succession. There are still many among your people who know not who you are. Thus you must declare yourself the rightful heir, the lost son of Lord Barnier's predecessor. You must assume a new name.
Say again?
The name by which you were known before is but a veil behind which you guarded your noble identity. and the time has come for you now to reclaim your true self.
Hold on a second. I'm not...
Yes, I am aware of your lineage.
Okay. Then what name do you suppose I should take?
You shall assume his name. Jean-Francois Barnier.
Is this some kind of sick joke? You're insane if you think I'm telling you on that psychopathic killer's name. Why on this green earth would I ever want to call myself after the man I dethroned?
Among the nobility, names are oft passed on, from father to son, from brother to brother.
But why his name? A name associated with fear and tyranny. Are you trying to hobble me before I take my first step?
You will remove the stain his deeds have left upon the name. Lord Barnier killed his fathers, brothers, and all their families in attendance, as Ginevra likely told you. Why do you suppose he killed them?
Are you mocking me, old man? He killed them because he was a damned madman.
Lord Barnier was not the rightful heir.
Excuse me?
He was merely a stand-in, to be disposed of and quietly replaced when came the time. However, he grew more voracious for power, fixated on becoming the Lord himself. So he killed everyone who stood in his way, both the Barnier family and the attendants who knew the truth.
Well shit, which side am I supposed to believe now? The old man or... what Barnier told Jiren?
I don't know.
Though he failed to realize that the Lord had sired another son, you, the rightful inheritor of the Jean-Francois Barnier name.
So that's our story, huh? I'm not the fake he was. Oh, whoops. I'm not the fake he was.
When the truth is revealed, the people will be enraptured, and crucially, the damage to the Barnier family name will be minimized. After all, the Barniers are but victims of this charlatan's avarice.
Okay.
And as you are to take on that Barnier family name, it is to your benefit that the reputation you inherit is as unblemished as possible. Furthermore, you have nothing to gain from keeping your present name. No longer are you the man you were in the slums. You must become a new man entirely.
Enough. I need time to think. A day. Give me just one.
I cannot. It is a matter of the utmost importance. You must act swiftly, for the opportunity will pass and the tides turn against you anon. The people are on your side for now. However, should you fail to expeditiously demonstrate that you, as the new lord, are likewise on their side, you will find yourself with more than the counts upon your doorstep. You must decide now.
Sir. Alright. I'll swallow my pride. I know there would need to be some changes before I embarked on this road. So this isn't unexpected. Just moving quicker than I was prepared for.
A wise decision. Now before we move on to the next order of business, I must ask. Are you physically well enough to remain on your feet for a short while longer? You will need to stand before your people and make a speech. Nevertheless, it is evident that you are wounded from your battle. And 'twould reflect poorly on your accomplishments were you to collapse during your first appearance.
I'll be fine. I can hold myself up long enough to give a speech.
Oh, youth, what a wonderful thing. You must be sure to get your rest once you have finished. I will arrange for the best doctor to come examine you.
Appreciated.
Now then, let us be off. You need merely repeat after me.
Hey, did you hear the new Lord's speech? Barnier was a fraud this entire time! What? No way! Big God, I should have skipped work and gone up to the manor to see it! You still got a chance! Go down to the square! The town's criers spreading the word, the whole thing!
Did you hear? The No Lord led a charge on the revolution. And he was the real Jean-Francois Barnier. I heard. I was there for his speech. He's so young. And easy on the eyes to boot. They say he spent years living in the slums hiding his true identity. That must have been so difficult for him.
At long last, we're free from our suffering! Free from the terror of Lord Barnier! Cheers for the new Lord!
Oh boy. Oh, give me a break. You're no damn Lord.
How goes it, Maria? Look like you ain't slept in weeks. Where'd you smile, girl? Today's a day for celebrating.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
What?
You're the one who pushed him into this!
What? What are you getting pissy about?
You pressured him into this dumbass revolution into becoming the fucking Lord.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. That ain't what happened at all. Jacopo's the one who proposed the whole thing.
Bullshit! He was trying to talk sense into you at the Midsummer Festival.
God, for the love of cripes, what crawled up your ass and died? That batshit asshole's gone, and now we got someone on our side in power. What's there to complain about?
Is there anything in that meathead of yours?
What was that?
You do realize he can never come back now, right? He's the Lord! He's gone, and he's gone for good. Up there in that manor all by himself. And you dragged him up to the top of that hill and left him there.
I get that you want someone to take this out on, but Jacopo's also the one who proposed becoming the Lord.
No.
I didn't push a damn thing on him. He showed up one day with a ring bearing the Barnier family crest, then told everyone he was royalty and had a claim to the throne.
This is insane.
It was his words that sparked the revolution.
There's no way. Jacopo is royalty? You need to get a better sense of humor.
My thoughts exactly at first, too, but then I saw the crest on the ring. It's the real deal. Did you miss the whole part when he put on the ring in front of everyone before we stormed the manor? His whole spiel about being the heir? That was pretty damn convincing if I do say so myself.
You seriously think I was there for some stupid pep talk?
Ain't you his friend? And I feel like a friend should be rooting for his success, you know? That's what I'm doing. I can say that much. Anyway, I got a hot date with a couple of kegs, so I'm out of here. Unless you want to come with. We're gonna be partying all night long.
Like hell I'm coming.
Just thought I'd ask. Try not to look so sour all the time, okay? You're much prettier when you're smiling.
Choke on a dick, asshole.
Duly noted. Later. Don't go choking on a dick, bitch.
I can't root for him because he's my friend. I know better than anyone that he's in over his head. All I can do is pray for you, Jacopo. Pray that you'll always be the Jacopo we knew. That this won't change you. We're still friends, right? Even if we're worlds apart now? Aww. After just giving me just enough time to recover, Odilon quickly got to work instructing me on everything I needed to know to be a lord. My first priority was to revitalize the city, cleaning up the mess my predecessor had left it in. As much as I wanted to ensure that everyone had food and water, it simply wasn't possible to make it happen overnight. We would need to significantly expand our farmland, build additional granaries, repair existing irrigation canals, not to mention crack down on crime and disorder. There was so much to do, it was almost dizzying, but the last thing I had time to do was whine. That said, none of it could happen with a snap of the fingers. It would take time and manpower, which means we'd have to use existing stores in the meantime. I asked the people, particularly among the upper class, to relinquish ownership of their stockpiles for me to redistribute among the population. That would allow everyone to make it through to the transitional period, I figured. Naturally, though, not everyone was happy with the arrangement. But the cries of dissatisfaction were drowned out by cheers of support when I explained that it was for everyone's sake. that we would need to band together to carry the whole city through what would be a rocky transition. As I was patting myself on the back for a job well done, Eldrelon shook his head and said,
"'Twill hold a year at most."
"We have enough stores to last at least 3 years, though. 2 if we want to be extra safe."
They will set your manor ablaze long before the stores run dry.
Excuse me? Why would they? I'm obviously doing everything in my power to revitalize the city. And I was the one who freed them from the claws of the tyrant.
The people will see only the results. Though they accept your promises of improvement now, if in a year's time they do not see those words bear fruit, their trust in you will wither away. Then, that you came from the slums is viewed now as a heroic rise to power, but your past will soon be turned against you, used to delegitimize you.
I mean, this is painting it in a very realistic way. Like if a tyrant or, a dictator was, like, taken down from power. I mean,
You must produce for them tangible results.
God, this wouldn't be easy, but still. It boils my blood to think my predecessor sat around on his ass all day. Did he even accomplish anything in his entire time as a lord?
I can think of only one truly positive effect of his regime. His support for the arts.
His what?
Surely you have seen the numerous pieces of art adorning this manor's walls. He would often treat himself with works from the finest artists and artisans in the land.
Oh, you mean all those paintings and vases and fancy drapes? Bunch of worthless junk, every last bit of it. None of it will do anything to fill the people's empty stomachs.
It would seem you understand not the value of art.
Well, I did grow up in the slums. What did you expect, old man?
Do you know what purpose art serves?
To elicit a response, to make... Oh! To make you feel better? It's nice to have around, but not much more than that.
Bribes, my boy. Those who hunger for power similarly hunger for ways to flaunt it, and the singularity of a piece of art fills that role. Some have a genuine appreciation for art, others merely use it as a tool. But nonetheless, skilled craftsmen, artists, and their work naturally gravitate toward those with power. Twould be wise for you to consider dressing somewhat less pedestrian soon. Now, we should be able to put the former Lord's possessions to good use in helping you build up valuable relationships.
You mean, start handing out bribes?
Indeed. But remember, they are negotiation tools. You must use them where they provide you the greatest returns.
Negotiation, huh? Alright, I think I see what you're getting at. If I want to revitalize the city in a year, I'm going to need help from my good neighbors. In exchange for provisions and workers, I offer the various counts pieces from Barnia's collection. Sound about right?
Precisely. My. You are much cleverer than I would have expected of a man from the slums. Now if only you would become accustomed to this manner of thinking, you could become a fine leader in short order.
I appreciate the concern, old man.
I will dispatch messengers and arrange meetings with the Count so we can begin anon. And I hope I do not have to remind you, but you will need to be very careful with your words, Lord Barnier.
Yeah, I know.
You seem quite tired, Lord Barnier.
You think? Every day I have to go meet with someone new and I spend all my travel time learning how to read and write. It's enough to exhaust anyone.
It is necessary nonetheless. Illiteracy will only...
Yes, I know. You said I looked tired and I'm telling you why that is. You never said I had a problem with it.
I overstepped. My apologies. Your diligence has been invaluable in earning the Count's favors, Lord Barnier. They think quite fondly of you.
Is that so? Because that's certainly not the impression I'm getting. They put on a facade of friendliness, but beneath the surface they're all laughing, trying to figure out how to best use me, or just outright scoffing. Not a one of them sincerely trusts me. I'm just a pawn to them.
We are all pieces on one another's boards.
What's that supposed to mean?
It would be most prudent to consider that unqualified friendship simply does not exist in high society. All interpersonal relationships are built upon a foundation of mutual benefit, save for exceedingly rare short-lived exceptions. Nonetheless, you should not consider being used as a bad thing. We all climb atop each other's boards, offering ourselves up as a powerful piece. And so do they offer themselves to us. Should you wish to survey in high society, you must always ensure your peers see you as a piece worth playing. Basically flip the chessboard over.
That would mean you're putting yourself out there as well, old man.
Indeed, I am your pawn, Lord Barnier. I offer myself to you, and in your using me, I gain this position as counsel to the Lord. It is a far more practical and reliable system than one founded on something so uncertain as emotion, would you not say?
Which is to say, I'm a pawn to him as much as he is to me. I suppose so. Then I too will have to ensure I remain useful, lest I be swept aside and another Barnier brought in to take my place.
Sharp words, my lord. But worry not, for I have no qualms with your performance at present. Now, Lord Barnier, we must discuss your next...
Hold on a sec, would you?
Yes, sir?
Do you mind not calling me Lord Barnier in private? I can understand why you'd want to keep up the charade even when no one's looking, but frankly, I'm just not comfortable with it.
Very well. Then, my lord, it shall be.
Can't say I'm surprised you won't use my real name, but still... Yeah, that'll do. Thank you.
Not at all. Now back to business, my lord.
It took long enough, but we're finally starting to see some real progress. Who knew negotiations was so much work?
You should be proud of your accomplishments, my lord. 'Tis hardly an easy feat to amass that much manpower and resources in only 6 months.
Doing better than expected, huh? How's public opinion looking? A report should be coming in by now, I assume.
Some dissatisfaction, but numbers are within expectations.
Dissatisfied? With what? I've spent every waking moment these past 6 months working my ass off to revitalize the city, and people aren't happy with that? They should be jumping with joy.
My lord, you must understand that it is impossible to satisfy everyone. Those are words that I have been told way too... Okay, minus the Lord part. Ugh, I can't tell you how many times I've been told that one phrase. A degree of discontent is to be expected.
Even so, it should be blindingly obvious how much better I'm doing than that previous basket of rainbows and kittens.
All is forgotten on the gentle ebb and flow of time. Past injustice matter little in the face of the present.
It hasn't even been a year!
The people do not genuinely care about you, nor will they ever. They may sing your praises one day and forget about you the next. I believe we have been through this before.
Surely there's someone out there who gets it.
That is wishful thinking, my lord. You could work yourself to your very bones and the people would merely see you as fulfilling your duty. You must not seek their approval. More will be expected of you, and more you will be the subject of undeserved resentment, for the simple reason that you exist in a position of power. Only those in a similar position can understand your hardships. Ultimately, then, you have two choices. Either dedicate yourself in service of your people, or mercilessly exploit them like your predecessor.
I won't follow in that bastard's footsteps.
I pray your heart remains true. That you remain a wise and caring lord.
Damn it. So, what specifically aren't people happy about?
The foremost is food shortages. This was anticipated, and all we can do is ask them to persevere. The second comes from the upper class.
Go on.
They are quite naturally displeased about being made to surrender their stockpiles. It would be prudent to offer them remuneration in the near future.
They're doing well enough for themselves already.
My lord,
I know. I'm just letting off some steam. Oh, so I get to go butter up all the rich men in town. Wonderful. The whole idea was to help the less well-off, yet here I am.
I understand that you are not pleased about this, my lord, but do remember that you have more to fear from a few of the upper class banded together than the entirety of the slums. For they wield a most troublesome weapon, an upper-class upbringing. They know precisely who to tell, and what to tell about you to tarnish their reputation in the blink of an eye. And do not placate yourself by thinking the common man will see through the attempts to undermine you. Even if they did, an unlikely supposition, they could do nothing to counter it. They are powerless.
But it was the people at the bottom who pulled most of the weight organizing and executing the revolution.
'Twas an exceptional set of circumstances that allowed the revolution to take place as it did, not the least of which was the Lord's status as unequivocally evil in the eyes of people. You will not find them all agreeing on anything so readily now.
Alright, I get it. The point is, I gotta win over all the rich people or my whole operation's going to come to a grinding halt, right? So as much as it rubs me the wrong way, I'll do what I have to do.
A wise decision, my lord.
Is that the last of the complaints?
No. The influx of immigrants has caused an increase in general unrest.
Of course it has. I bring them in to help with the restoration effort, and they go and cause their own new set of problems. It's like I'm chasing my own tail here.
So long as there are people under your authority, never will you be completely free of strife.
You're telling me. So, would increasing the guards' presence in the city help keep the peace?
Most of those with the training necessary are already deployed, meaning you would need to have new guards trained from the ground up. You will have to mobilize them where they are most needed.
In other words,
tighten your grip on the slums.
So now I've got to take away their freedom.
I know you have a personal attachment to that area, my lord, but you must cast that aside. No longer are you the man you once were. The slums should never have been allowed to fall into such lawlessness in the first place. You will merely be restoring it to its proper state. If you truly wish to bring prosperity to this land, you must eventually scale down, then eliminate the slums.
But if I get rid of the slums, I'll be getting rid of their home.
My lord.
I know. I understand what you're getting at. And I understand that everything you're saying is perfectly logical. I just... Can we hold off on that for a bit? A bunch of guys down there formed this peacekeeper group to, keep the peace. They'd gladly help out if we could talk to them, I'm sure. We can scale up our patrols, but no stepping on their toes. Got it?
As you command, my lord.
Damn.
Oh. Here it is.
Hard to believe it's been a whole year. It feels like I only just started yesterday. Yet also like I've been doing this forever.
You're looking somewhat worse for wear, my lord.
Do I? Who am I kidding? You're right. On the other hand, you don't look like you've lost even an hour of sleep this entire year. Goes to show how inexperienced I really am.
While it is true that I have been in this position for many years, I also do not bear nearly as much responsibility as you. I merely stand in the background and offer you small pieces of advice. All the while you face the crowds directly, negotiate with counts, make dozens of difficult decisions. If there is one thing I've learned in all my years, it is that I could never begin to imagine the weight a ruler must carry. Never mind one who was never raised to take the throne and thrust themselves into the labyrinth of politics and high society. It would be a great surprise if the trials had not taken their toll.
That reminds me. Barnier was Lord for a full decade before we took him out, wasn't he? And as I recall, he wasn't as much of a despot early on. If just 1 year has taken this much out of me, how much longer before I'm no longer able to act like a reasonable human being? No, I don't think like that, Jacopo. Actually, forget it. What matters is that we seem to be doing a good job minimizing discontent.
Indeed. You have made it through the first year. The city is decidedly more presentable than it was when you took the throne. There are precious few who could replicate your accomplishments in that such short time, my lord. You would do well to take pride in your work.
Wishing to do everything so quickly has taken its toll. The people are worn thin, slaves are dying by the droves. I still have a ways to go before there's anything I can be proud of.
Slaves are the tools of progress, my lord. Tools do not last forever and must be replaced regularly.
And you can't build a house with your bare hands. I get it.
You learn quickly.
Not even a year ago, I would have been up in arms about the number of slaves dying. But now they're just numbers to me. Apparently my worldview has changed quite a bit.
Well, for God's sake, you got the pressure of an entire area and constantly bearing down on you. Especially the fact that this area was ruled by a fucking tyrant for for decades. For a decade or so. You're just literally just trying to clean up the mess, but also doing it in a way that doesn't fuck over everything. It is about time we started considering our next step.
Meaning?
Meaning your efforts thus far have been merely toward repairing the damage caused by your predecessor.
You make it sound like all of this has been a warm-up.
My apologies. I did not mean to discount your great efforts, my lord. I was simply speaking of the grander scheme.
Yeah, I got that. You want to settle on a direction for how to grow the city, right?
Indeed. The status quo is vastly inadequate for bringing prosperity to this land, and there is no saying when the surrounding territories may cease being so friendly, and set their eyes upon conquering us. But, of course, you cannot keep your eyes trained outward in fear of attack, and allow the land to devour itself from the inside either.
So what you're saying is, it's a balancing act.
Precisely.
So, what kind of advancements do I want to pursue? There's something that's been on my mind. This land is ill-suited to growing crops. When I lived down in the slums, I had no perspective and figured that what we produced here was no different than anywhere else. But now I know better. The grapes used for our wine are miserable compared to what I've been served elsewhere, as in nearly everything else we grow. I can only assume the land itself is to blame.
The wine from the south is indeed exceptional. You quite nearly gave me a heart attack when you leapt from your chair in the middle of a meeting, shouting, "This is nothing like the wine from home!"
Enough. That never happened. It was my first time tasting anything like it, alright? Anyone would have had the same reaction.
You have grown much, but nevertheless you are still quite green.
I can just imagine that all of a sudden. God, I really need to watch myself around this man.
In any case, it would be ideal if we could begin producing higher quality grapes. Not necessarily to compete with the south, but enough to be serviceable. Efforts to improve our farmland are underway, although it could take some time before we see the progress. Have you any propositions, my lord?
Actually, I was thinking it might be best to cut back on agriculture.
Do elaborate.
What if we were to build the city up into a trade hub of sorts?
Meaning you wish to open our gates to our neighbors?
Exactly. One thing the city has going for it is the wealth of artisans. But for years we've only ever exported our goods. I want to bring people here to purchase. We reduce taxes for merchants and give them special privileges. Set tariffs and border taxes lower than they are in the capital. And business will naturally find its way here. This land may be less than optimal for farming, but it's more than adequate for trade. We're in a convenient location to serve as a hub for the surrounding realms. Rather than close our borders and wall ourselves off entirely, opening up and making ourselves of value to our neighbors is far more likely to dissuade potential invasion.
I would make a very, very political joke, but I should probably not.
We're all pieces on another's boards, right? Isn't that right? Who says that can't apply to the entire city?
best way to expand without stepping on anyone's toes is to do so in a way that benefits them as well as us. What do you think?
A rather aggressive strategy you propose, my lord. If I may be so bold, there will be many obstacles to this plan's success. You will need to arrange meetings with the head of each realm you intend to invite, the order and timing of which will be crucial to its success. Furthermore, the influx of outsiders will be a source of much tension among your people.
So you think I'm aiming too high?
You're indeed aiming exceedingly high. Your obstacles will be numerous and precipitous. But nevertheless, obstacles can be overcome. Your exhaustion is nothing compared to the weariness that awaits you down this path. Do be well of this, aware of this, my lord.
You're damn right I am. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go all in. Oh boy. The Lord's Manor sat atop a tall hill. Oh. Gazing out, the city stretched before me. Countless columns of smoke rising from the buildings, the people scurrying about like so many ants. From up here I had the perfect view of the bustle of the city, but I was too far away to feel the life breathing through it. To think I used to be one of those tiny little specks. Thousands of people lived there. They had families, jobs, friends, hobbies, but as much as I was cognizant of that fact, I no longer grasped it on anything more than a conceptual level. It was incredible just how much my view of the world had changed in merely a year's time. I'm going to go out into the world, I said. I thought that clawing my way to the top of the ladder would let me see it, would let me experience it. That with power I could have the whole world at my fingertips. But reality wasn't so simple. This sure isn't what I was looking for. Hell, I feel like the chain just gone tight around my neck. There's no way to truly grasp the view from this height without climbing up and seeing it for yourself. And that was exactly where I was a year ago, blind to the reality of life in the upper echelons, fantasizing about a world that didn't exist. Unlike the me of the past, I did have the satisfaction of feeling like I was accomplishing big things. But was that really worth cutting myself off from all my friends? Did those achievements really justify a bloody revolution? Or I suppose I should ask, was this work valuable enough to me to justify it all? Reminiscing about days long gone wasn't going to help anything, and in fact it only served to cause me pain. I couldn't return to that time. This was where my quest for power had brought me, and now I had to live out my days as lord of this land. Telling myself day after day that it was far better than being a powerless slum rat. God, I've been so busy these past few weeks. My eyes are... One day I'll show you the world. Do you ever get tired of saying that? You've got to think big, dream. The world's changing all around us. A life just fighting to make it day by day is hardly a life at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my days confined to this tiny little corner of the world. Well, try not to let your dreams grow so big they crush you. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll just have you sing for me if it ever gets to be overwhelming. Why would I be there? Why wouldn't you? It's hard to show you the world if I don't bring you with me. Knowing you still won't know where you want to go. So I'll bring you with me. We can find a place for you together. Pretty good deal, huh? I don't need to see the world. All I want is... I dozed off for a second there. It feels like those days were an eternity ago. I don't need to see the world. All I want is... All you want is what, Morgana? What were you trying to tell me?
Man, feels like a whole different place here now. You think? Looks like the same old nasty dump it's always been.
He's talking about the whole city, you dolt.
Exactly. Things are on the up and up in the city proper, but we ain't seeing a scrap of it down here. The heck's up with that?
All the new shops are spilling out past the city border. The highway into town's turned into a full-blown bazaar. Ooh, sounds nice. If there's anything in that damned head of yours, we're saying, how come we're still living like rats if they get enough spare coin to build up all the market space? Hell, with all these damn immigrants coming in, the slums are even bigger shithole than before. You know, I never thought of it much until now, but you're right. The gang's been a lot busier lately with all the drifters. And Lord Barnier, ain't showing his mug down here even though once since he took over. I mean, I get that the bloody Lord can't spend all day hanging out in the slums, but he could at least visit. Instead, he's spending all his time buddying up with the rich folks. And we used to be such good friends, too. What if he's planning to just not bother with us at all? I hope not, but that's sure what it's looking like. I think he'd at least throw us a bone rather than letting the merchants and upper class take coin baths in his coffers. Guess when he became one of them, he became just like him, too. Feels like we're in the exact same place we were a year ago. He's no different than the old Barnier. Oh boy. God. Oh, that's you. So, you find anything?
Yep, got the proof you was looking for. But if you be so kind as to never give me a job like this again, I'd be hanged thrice over if the nobles found out I was sniffing around their business.
Oh, quit being such a bitch. You didn't steal nothing or kill anyone, you're fine.
A man's secrets can sometimes be worth more than his life. But on to business. Your suspicions were correct.
Well, fuck me sideways. Here's your pay. Take it and piss off.
Nice doing business. Hey, hold up. I risked my neck to get that for you, and all I guess this is all I get in return?
You got a problem with that, you little bitch?
No, sir.
Don't you worry. You get your fair due shortly. What are you looking into, Grecian?
These construction costs are really starting to pile up. Can't we put the manor repairs off until we've taken care of more pressing matters? Like using that money to help the poor?
The Lord and his residents on the face of his land. If you wish for the city to continue thriving upon the fruits of your relationship with the surrounding realms, you must maintain a minimum level of respectability, my lord. Merchants in particular are merciless judges of appearance. Of this you can be certain. No respectable merchant will do business on equal terms with the city whose lord refuses to take care of his own home.
I get that, but still, it's so much money.
These are necessary expenses. To acquire the resources required to aid the lower class, we must increase the rate of production. Our efforts must begin at the top and gradually work down. You must not be in such a great rush, my lord. The work you're performing is on a much larger, longer scale than perhaps that of which you are accustomed.
You have a point. Then, let the construction continue. I'm definitely coming just to see just how crucial a bit of embellishment can be to surviving in high society. Every engagement is like throwing myself into a lion's den. Everyone's surrounding me, measuring me up. They question my pedigree, some with their eyes, some with their mouths. Some attempt to even dig up dirt on me in order to tilt the scales in their favor. Oh yeah, there was that one time I was straight up shouted at right to my face. You're no more damn noble than any of those other rats whose nest you crawled out of, if I recall. Not that he was wrong. I took the throne by force. It's only natural that people are going to have their suspicions. That I came from the slums is the icing on the cake. I'm damn lucky if condescension is the worst treatment I get on a first encounter. And then there are the distant relatives Barnier let slip through the cracks, slithering back up to assert their right to the land. There are a lot more people out to get at me than I first anticipated.
To remain strong, my lord.
I will always be strong. If I so much as let those wolves smell weakness, they'll pounce all over me. Like hell, I'm going to let that happen. I won't have time to work on helping the poor if I have to spend my days fending off packs of bloodthirsty nobles.
I must always appear strong under any circumstances. I of all people should know just how easily a lord can be dethroned. And I'll be next if I leave even the slightest opening. Ugh. I have to do whatever it takes to make sure that's not my future.
Perhaps you should get some rest, my lord.
Excuse me? Are you insane? I have to review the construction budget so that...
Allow me to handle that. I will get you something to drink. Perhaps a glass of that southern wine you are so fond of? It is quite sweet. Perfect for alleviating built-up fatigue.
I am not fatigued.
Come now. Please just take this request from an overly concerned counsel, my lord.
Fine. You win. It's hard to believe it's only been a year and a half. I feel like we go way back.
Oh, we do see each other every day after all.
I'm starting to crave some variety, to be honest. I never found a good opportunity to ask you this, but...
Yes?
Do you have any family? Because if you do, you're more than welcome to have them live here.
I appreciate your concern, my lord, but they have all passed away.
All of them?
Indeed. My entire family was eradicated at the previous lord's order.
Jesus.
Once, and only once, I offered him my humble opinion. So infuriated was he by my insolence that he had my family murdered.
Jeez.
I would have much preferred myself killed in their stead. But he was a man who reveled in other sufferings.
And you just kept on serving him?
That is correct. I acted as his loyal servant, too afraid to speak up again.
Acted?
Recall what I said when we first met. I was sitting in wait for the perfect opportunity. Now you understand why.
Well... damn.
And if I may come clean about that time, I had every intention of disposing of the revolution's puppet master. Never once did I trust Ginevra. Her foolish motives were plain as day. As the new lord's mother, she planned to control her planted usurper from the shadows, acting as the effective governor of the land. Having no family left to myself, this city and its people are like my children. So I refused to stand by and allow her to turn them into tools to satisfy her own avarice. The land would hardly survive a tyrant sweeping in to replace a tyrant. But she was removed from the board by the former lord before she had a chance to see her aspirations to fruition. Knowing she was no longer a danger, I decided I would wait and see how the successor fared before taking any further action. To determine if you were sufficient to serve as lord of this land.
And I guess I passed, huh?
Are you not upset, my lord?
Nothing to be upset about. You never hid the fact that you acted in your own interests. That if a piece had no value to you, you discarded it. And I always knew there was more than what you were telling me. I'll just say, I'm relieved to still be standing here.
If only you knew how close you were to falling on the other side of that line.
Am I really that on edge, after all the work I put into this?
Well, you do have a rare aptitude and strength of spirit. You're still much too easily swayed by your emotions. Ergo, I shall continue to instruct you until you are finally able to fully satisfy my expectations. It is rather curious. So oft do we speak, to so great our time together. I have come to think of you as my second son.
Don't get all mushy on me, old man. We're not friends and we're not family. I'm a pawn on your board and you're a pawn on mine. Strictly business.
My apologies. I never said a word.
Right.
Never happened. Moving right along. You just keep doing what you do best.
At your service, my lord.
Out of curiosity, do we have any free hands around capable of riding a horse?
For what purpose?
There's someone I want found.
Whoever it may be you wish to find, my lord, I'm obliged to remind you that...
You don't even have to finish that. I know. I'm supposed to leave the past in the past.
Let us see, then. Your men have their hands rather full at present, though we can perhaps arrange for one of them to be reassigned.
Are you sure?
It is a small request, and not once in your entire tenure have you requested to use your men for personal matters. I believe we can spare a hand or two on such rare occasions.
Much appreciated.
Shall I arrange for them to set off immediately?
Please. I'm looking for a girl. If she's alive, she'll look around 13 or 14. And she has unusual markings on her face.
Markings akin to burn scars?
Barnier once imprisoned her in this manner. He used her as a prop for his banquets, cutting her up from head to toe. My guess is that the patches on her face are a result of Barnier's abuse.
Indeed. I know the girl. I presumed she had not survived the slave revolt. I take it you care quite deeply about this girl, my lord. Then, allow me to offer my sincerest apologies in his stead.
No need to apologize. Will you help me find her, Odilon?
I will oversee the search operation personally to the best of my ability, my lord. I pray the girl is still alive.
As do I, unlikely as it may be. I'm just chasing after a sliver of a dream that shattered long ago. That said, if you do find her alive, bring her here without telling her it's at the Lord's order. She'll likely assume it's that old Barnier who's after her if you say anything. And if she happens to have found a new home where she's happy, just leave her be.
Understood.
Oh, my heart oh my god. Oh my god. I feel bad that I ever hated Jacopo. I really do. Time drifted slowly onward. As I'd anticipated, there was no news regarding her whereabouts. But new shops and stalls continued opening in the city, with them coming a steady flow of travelers and passing merchants. And as traffic through the city increased, so too did the number of people seeking an audience with me. I was getting busier by the day. My plans to attract merchants and artisans from the capital had worked, and every one of them seemed to have a bigger, more ambitious proposition than the last. My days became a cycle of meetings, reviewing propositions, balancing the budget, and deciding whether to proceed or postpone. And amidst all the tumult, my thoughts drifted ever further from the poorest of my people. And that's the last of the day's meetings. There's no end in sight to this.
That is a good thing, my lord. It means you have succeeded in drawing traffic to the city.
I guess, but still. I need to go back and review all those proposals, so...
Lord Barnier, a moment.
I don't have a moment to spare.
A townsperson requests an audience with the lord. You have been instructed to deny entry to commoners. I tried, but he refuses to leave the gate.
Hold on. What's this man's name?
Sir, he calls himself Gratian.
Oh shit, is it really him? Let him in, by all means.
My lord, you mustn't give anyone special treatment.
Gratian's not just anyone. We've been to hell and back together. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't important. I should hear what he has to say.
No, my lord, you cannot. Your past is...
He's a good friend. I'm not sending him away. That's not even on the table.
Friend or not, you mustn't give him an audience. You are the lord now, and he is a mere peasant. You cannot be certain he will hold himself with proper decorum.
I don't appreciate what you're implying about my friend, old man. He's no goddamn brute.
I imply nothing, my lord.
Keep your counsel to topics you actually know something about. I'm not going to stand by and listen to anyone insult my friends, not even you.
My lord, must I remind you yet again to keep your temper in check?
That's enough out of you. I'm done. None other word on this subject.
My lord.
Hey, guard, open the gate.
Yes, sir. Sup, Jacopo? It's been ages.
It feels like forever. How have you been doing?
Never been better. How about you, kid? Show proper respect to your lord, peasant. You ought to refer to him as Lord Barnier, not any false names he may have responded to while in hiding. Seriously? You ain't gonna let him kick back even for a buddy?
Enough, Odilon. He can call me by my old name.
But, my lord...
I said I've heard enough from you!
Well, look at you! Taking charge and barking orders all important like. You're like a whole new man, my lord.
Please, you can use my name.
I'm dead serious, though. Hard to believe it ain't even been 2 years. You seriously look like a whole new man.
You think so? I don't feel like I've changed all that much myself.
I don't know, you just... what's the word? Emanate lordliness now. Guess it don't take long in the noble's den to turn into one of them, no matter how far down the chain you come from. And look at this room! Look at all these fancy fucking furnishings! None of this old Barnier stuff, is it?
Nope. With all the meetings I've been having, I need to make sure I had a room that was nice and presentable.
Well, that's one way to put it.
Hey, don't think I'm just throwing money around for the fun of it. If I want any pull in a negotiation, I need to look like I have...
No need to explain yourself, kid. I totally get it. It ain't easy dealing with a bunch of rich folks with sticks up their asses.
I appreciate that. Anyway, what brings you here today?
Whoa, bud, do we need a reason to visit a friend? Can't a guy just want to hang out and catch up? Come on.
I never said that. I'm just extremely busy at the moment. I don't have much time to spare for anyone.
Come on. Don't be such a tight ass. That's exactly why I'm here. To make sure you don't get that stick up there so deep it punctures your brain. You gotta let loose sometimes.
I suppose. Thank you for your concern.
So let's get sloshed just like the old days. I even brought the booze.
I wish I could, but I don't have the time.
You'll drink with merchants and rich snobs, but not me? That stings, kid. Right in the gut.
I see you're as pushy as ever. Alright, fine. One drink in the back room.
Ha! That's what I'm talking about! My lord.
It'll be fine, Odilon. We go back years. There's nothing wrong with a couple of friends sharing drinks after hours.
If you insist, my lord, but the peasant must leave his blade behind. I will not under any circumstances allow you to be alone with an armed slumberer. Yeesh! Everyone here needs to loosen up, huh? You still think I'm gonna pull a sword on an old pal? Humor me. Whatever, fine, you win, old timer. Happy now? Yes.
Sorry about that, Gratian. Odilon's always on edge. It's nothing personal.
Nah, that's cool. Can't say I blame him. Now let's go get trashed. I brought a little something from the pub we used to hunt. Bet you usually drink way better shit than this now that you're the friggin' lord. But it'll be like old times, you know.
This reminds me of the time we had that drinking contest.
Wanna go another round?
I'll have to refrain. Odilon would murder me if I did that.
Sounds like the geezers got you by the balls, huh? No fun allowed up here in the Lord's house.
It can be rather suffocating, yeah.
Well, you can at least let loose today. To old times, kid.
To old times. Now, this is a sight I never dreamed of. The two of us here in the Lord's Manor, drinking together. We were both slaves when we met, for God's sake.
No fucking joke. You never know what life will bring you. Been almost 5 years since then. You weren't even 20 yet.
I expect we've both grown quite a bit since those days. Or are you still running around like a wild boar even now?
Hard to say. I don't think I'm as bad as I used to be. But getting into that shit kind of comes with the territory, you know? And the slums are still the same as ever.
I see. So, how's everyone been doing down there?
We're scraping by as usual.
The rest of the gang? And Maria?
The guys are still lazing around the pub all day. Maria's rebuilt the brothel and she's getting by as best she can. Obviously, not in the same place, and it's smaller than the old one. But for a chick, she's doing alright for herself.
I'm glad to hear it.
So tell me, kid, you and her totally had a thing, yeah?
Where on earth did that come from? I believe I've already told you, no, we didn't.
It just seems like she's about 10 times more worried about you than anyone else. There must have been something. It don't make sense otherwise. Maybe she just had a thing for you and you never saw it? Poor girl.
There were no romantic feelings on either side. We were friends. Simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Have you seen those honkers?
What does that have to do with anything?
It just don't make sense to me. How can a guy only be friends with a chick?
It just means we value certain things in life differently.
You know, I'd like to do that sometimes. Get all weirdly noble like that. Hey, I didn't mean that as a jab.
It has nothing with being noble. It's Maria's special. We've known each other most of our lives and we survived hell together.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before, didn't you? That you two must have known each other longer than anyone else? What was it like back then for the two of you?
Before I met her, Maria was raised in an orphanage. She said she ran off because she and the director didn't get along.
Huh, can't say I'm surprised. How about you?
I hardly remember anything before I came to the city. Just bits and pieces of what my mother told me. Being guarded by a bunch of men, being kidnapped by bandits.
You mean that noblewoman? Real shame you had to lose her so soon after reuniting, huh?
Indeed it is.
Don't you think it's about time you cut the shit?
Excuse me?
You're not a Bonnier. You didn't inherit the throne. You're just a damn fraud. Ain't that right, Jacopo?
What are you talking...
Finally starting to kick in, looks like. God, you got any idea how hard it was not to throttle you through that entire conversation?
What? Oh, dear God.
Oh my god, I just now noticed the top of the program. Once a friend. I only just now noticed. Yep, this was bound to happen.
Almost out of nowhere, my heart rate skyrocketed and my legs started trembling so violently I had to lean against the wall to support myself. The whole world started swirling, and I could just barely make out my old friend glaring at me through the fog.
How you like that? Feels like your heart's about to burst, don't it? Don't you worry, kid. You won't be feeling nothing soon.
You poisoned the drinks? Why would you?
Why? You seriously need me to spell it out for you? Huh, you been stuffing your head with fucking rainbows up here? You wanna know what they call you down the slums? Jacopo the Betrayer!
I did not betray...
You take one goddamn look at the city and tell me that again! While you're up here treating anyone with a cart and some trinkets to sell like some fucking royalty, the slums are still the same rat's nest you left it! No, we're even worse off now. With your new marketplace, anyone could turn a little bit of money into a big pile of gold. But if you got nothing to begin with, you're just dead in the streets. All you're doing is making the rich even richer.
No, I'm trying... I wanted to explain how I had everything planned out. How I first needed to improve the economy as a whole before I could turn my attention to the less well-off. That nothing changing was proof I was protecting them. That the slums had been in danger of being eradicated entirely and I had stopped it. But I could see in his eyes that nothing I said would convince him. As far as he was concerned, I was pure evil.
You're not the man you used to be.
Gratian, why? I thought you believed in me.
You're damn right I did. And then you went off and fed us a bunch of lies. You called yourself the rightful heir. You called yourself a bonnier. But I did my digging. You don't got a lick of royal blood in you. All you ever wanted was to line your pockets, you selfish bastard!
No,
You never had any intention of helping us.
Please, hear me out, Gratian.
We were all just pawns to you. The whole damn revolution was part of your game.
I'm begging you!
How's it feel, knowing your throne sits on the backs of all those people you betrayed?
Please.
You don't have any right to call yourself the goddamn Lord!
Gratian!
Hell, you barely have any right to call yourself a fucking man. You're just a rat in fancy clothes. It should have been me. I would have made an infinitely better Lord than you ever were!
Jesus fucking Christ!
If only I had that ring, then it could have been me!
So that's what this is all about. And all in a flash, everything I once felt for this man, all the friendship, the camaraderie, the sympathy, went cold. As much as he tried to dress up this whole farce, that was where his heart truly was. He was just sour about not being the one who got to be the Lord. He believed himself superior. He got himself caught up in this stupid fit of jealousy, and now he's trying to kill me over it? That's seriously all this is? Are you listening to a word you're saying?
What was that?
You're the one who's not the man he used to be. And you're the one who's being a self-centered bastard!
Talk all you want, dead man.
The Gratian I knew would never resort to using poison. He'd have drawn his sword the second he passed through those gates, faced me like a man. But look at you. Even Bonnier had more of a spine than you!
You dare compare me to that sack of shit?
Alright, fine.
I'll play it your way.
He had a knife hidden on him. The innocent later Gratian was brandishing a short blade. He had snuck it under his clothes, I presumed. I was almost amazed at how thoroughly prepared he was. He'd never had any intention of this going any other way. He hadn't come to talk. He was never going to hear me out. He was here to do one thing and one thing only. I doubt he had any plans for what would come next. Raw hatred was all that fueled him. He wouldn't take my place after killing me. He wouldn't work himself to the bone to ensure the city kept running. He didn't give a single damn about any of that. You're scum! I won't be taken down by some worthless, self-absorbed rat! Nothing I'd ever tried had been enough to best Gratian in bad combat. That was when I was at my peak. Not with the myriad needles of this poison pulling my every pore, barely able to stand on my own weight. But still I had no intention of surrendering my life to this cur. I took in a deep breath, clenched my teeth, shouted at my shaking limbs. Move! Move, move, move! Move, damn you! My fingers. I could feel them again. Before the thought finished processing through my mind, my hand reached for a blade. Grasping the rapier hanging from the wall, I swiftly drew it from the scabbard. It was a decorative blade, not meant for combat. It would probably bounce right off Gratian's muscular chest. But there was one place I could target.
Run in hell, you son of a bitch!
Knife in hand, he lunged at me. Just moments before death befell me, my vision, blurred by the poison, grew unbelievably clear. Gratian almost appeared to be moving in slow motion. I wasn't sure my mind had ever been so clear, so sharp in battle before. The dying embers of my fading life burned anew into a blazing inferno. Rah! Unlike my fight with Bonnier, this one was over in an instant. Before I had time to breathe or even blink, it was settled. And in that same instant, everything I'd built up with this man turned to dust. I had never once defeated him. For as long as I had known him, I was always, always number 2. And now for the very first time... I won.
What? Why did it... me... you... and not me...
Damn it. The blade of the rapier in my hand skewered Grecian's throat. His mouth flapped open and shut like a fish. He glared at me, face twisted in a mixture of hatred and agony, sputtering fragments of contempt, until the life drained from his eyes. My first victory against my old friend also took his life. And it all happened in the blink of an eye. Hardly enough time to even register in my mind.
My lord! My lord, what was all that commotion? What happened? My lord, please stay with me. Weren't you poisoned? Someone! Is anyone there? Yes, sir? A doctor, as quickly as you can. Why? My lord, please, my lord. A doctor will be here shortly. Please, stay with me just a little longer. My lord.
Evelyn, you were right. I was stupid. I should have listened. I thought he was my friend. But he wasn't. Not anymore. And because we had once been friends, that made him my greatest threat. Fucking hell.